Welcome back to Japan. I'm Matthew. It's been a little while since I saw you guys, but I've been busy writing scripts for Go Magic and traveling around and just enjoying life in general. And today I thought I'd make a little video about the Go equipment that we use to play this wonderful, amazing game that we all love so much. But to begin with, let's dive straight in and let's talk about Goban. Goban are kind of the main thing that we need to play Go. You can't play Go without Goban, which in English is your Go boards. So the first thing to note about Go boards is they come in three styles. You have a travel board, you have a table board, and you have a floor board. Those are also how you're going to go from cheapest to most expensive, starting with, of course, the travel board, and the most expensive being the floor board. You can tell the difference between a table board and a floor board because a table board is for playing on a table, and a floor board has legs, so you can sit down and play here on the ground. Next thing to think about with Gobans is the material they're made of. In this case, the cheapest material is plastic. My travel Goban is quite simple. It's magnetic and it's plastic. Ugh. And this is just for playing Go on the train or playing Go on an airplane, just on the go. Go on the go, you could say. Huh. The next level up for materials is going to be wood. And wood can come in very many different kinds, depending on what tree you use to create the Goban. Here in Japan, the most expensive is the Honkaya, which can take anywhere from 500 and 700 years to grow to be the proper size to make a Goban. But there are also many, many different variations of trees that can be used to make Goban. Some of the most expensive Go boards I've seen here in Japan are made from wood that was sourced from Yakushima. And Yakushima is currently a World Heritage Site, so they're not allowed to cut down trees anymore, which makes the woods from Yakushima very, very prized and expensive. So I saw a Japanese Go board made from camphor from Yakushima that was worth upwards of $8,000, depending on where your wood comes from and what kind of tree it is. That can vary the price as well. The last thing to think about is the size, the thickness of the Go board, as well as, if you're being really picky, the quality of the cut. So, of course, the thicker the Go board, the more expensive it's going to be. So usually that's why your table board is not as expensive as your floor board. The next thing to think about, though, the quality of the cut of wood is maybe not something that people would have thought of before, that can change the sound that the stones make when you place them on the board. So if you have a vertical grain cut, where the lines are vertical on the side of the board, that's called masame, or vertical grain. If the grains go up horizontally or are bent horizontally across the Go board, that is called itame, or horizontal grains. The vertical grains are considered higher quality than the horizontal grains. And within there is also some more variation, but basically the more vertical the grain, the more valuable the board is considered to be. That said, there are some beautiful, beautiful examples of Go boards using the horizontal grain pattern. So, for example, my table board is a Honkaya table board that I bought in Hyuga. So it's made from Hyuga kaya. And as you can see, this is a composite Go board. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of wood. And these are mostly vertical, so this is a masame board. And as you can see, it's a very beautiful cut of wood. It also smells wonderful. And the reason you would make a composite board like this is because when you take those big chunks out of the tree to make your floorboards, you're going to have leftover planks, and you're going to want to use those instead of throwing them away, so you can snack them together to make this beautiful composite Go board. Something else you need to think about when you use a table board is you'll need a cover. It doesn't have to be as expensive or as beautiful as mine. Anything will really do. A blanket will do fine as well. And you also need something in between the go board and the table. We don't usually put the go board directly on the table. In my case, I use a tatami mat, but you can use anything from felt to, again, a blanket if that's all you have. Oh, did I do it right this time? I can never get it done in one. I can never get it put away in the first go. I didn't. One of these days. Okay. Moving on then, we have my floorboard, which you guys have seen me use before. And again, with a floorboard, you're just going to need some kind of cover. I use a blanket for storage purposes. When you put it away, you want to have something covered on the sides and the top so that nothing can accidentally scratch or ding your go board. This was a gift from a teacher, friend of mine here in Japan. Her father was a Go enthusiast and had this board specially made. If you look here on the side, you can see these rising grain patterns. So this is a itame board. It's on the lower half of the quality spectrum. But these itame boards usually have these very beautiful grain patterns on the surface, which I quite love. So even if you're getting something on the lower quality side of the grain pattern, in terms of quality, you might be getting the lower spectrum. But in terms of beauty, if this is something that appeals to you, that's perfectly fine and perfectly valid reason to get one of these boards. They're a little cheaper, and they also have these beautiful grain patterns on their surface. Any kind of knot in the wood or any kind of defect in the wood is going to lower the price as well. So if that kind of thing doesn't bother you, it's also a chance for you to get maybe a higher quality piece of board for a lower price. So that's something else to keep in mind. So let's go and look at the goke, or the gobles, next. So now that we've talked about the goban, which are your very basic features, the next thing you're going to look at, probably the next big step up, are your gobles. Your gobles generally come in a range of plastics and woods, just like your go boards. Sometimes you can find stone, like that's made of like agate or jade, go bowls. Those are usually very expensive and kind of rare. They're not usually what you would think of when you think of go bowls. Go bowls also come in many different kinds of shape. I've seen recently some very hexagonal cut go bowls, which are maybe kind of a specialty. But generally speaking, you have the kind of just a very normal circular shape to kind of a wider oblong shape, and to these kind of special shaped goke that are called the honimbo shape, after the honimbo school that supposedly used this shape. So I have my two very nice sets of go bowls, and then I also have this kind of cheaper set of go bowls. And this is how your go bowls might come if you get some very nice ones. They'll come in a box like this. Even nicer go bowls will come in like a polywana box, a kind of wooden box, which you can keep and use if you want. These are my cheapest set of go bowls that I don't use very often anymore. These were about $30, I think. And these are just made of chestnut. They're still very beautiful. But this is your normal go bowl. And when you think of the price of a go bowl, usually something like this, chestnut and walnut, are going to be your cheapest. Your most expensive are probably going to be some kind of specialty wood like mulberry. Within that range as well, the shape and the size of the go bowl is also important. So the bigger your stones, the bigger your go bowl needs to be. So this go bowl can probably fit almost any stone size, except maybe the biggest sizes. So this is, again, a cheap, beautiful option. They're beautiful, but this is just kind of your cheaper option. Going up to be a bit more expensive are something like these. These are made of zelakova tree, and as you can see, they have these beautiful lines on them. And these are the honimbo shape, so-called because they bend out here at the bottom. And this size of a bowl can hold any size of go stone. This can hold all the way up to size 40 go stones. And so these are my basic, beautiful go bowls. But again, I was very lucky that I got to go to Kuroki Goishiten, and they showed me these specialty bowls that I have in here in these beautiful cases. And so this is another thing, if you're going to put a lot of money into your go bowls, you'll probably want to have a case for them. It makes them much easier to carry as well, and it also protects them from getting scratched. So let's take a look at one of these. So this is a go bowl made of honkaya. So this is actually pretty rare. Most of the time, honkaya is, like I said, used for your go boards, not for your goke. So this was a pretty rare purchase. The people at Kuroki Goishiten told me that there's only 5 or 6 of these that they've ever made. So I was very lucky to be able to see them hands-on and be allowed to buy them. Another thing to think about with your goke, with your go bowls, is do they match the board? So this is a really bright color. It doesn't really match my floorboard, so I use these with my table board, and I use these bad boys with my floorboard because they match. They're a very beautiful color. Also, when you think about having goke, if you get really expensive stones as well, you're going to want to line the inside of your goke with a very soft cloth of some kind so that the go stones don't get scratched, and vice versa, the go stones don't scratch the goke, the go bowls. So that's the general overview of the go bowls as well. Now we're going to take a look at the go stones. All right, welcome back. This is the final part of our little overview of go equipment here in Japan. I have changed into a nice white shirt and black shirt because we are talking about the white and the black, the slate and the shell, the go stones themselves. And now, most of the nicer sets that you buy in Japan all come with this black slate. And the slate comes out looking kind of like this, where they hollow it out and they take out the stone and they polish it and shape it. And the slate, while being very good, is just very prevalent. And so when you think of the price of your go stones, slate is not usually the thing that comes into the thought process. It is these beautiful white clamshell stones that set the price. Of course, in Japan, if you're not looking to get too expensive, you can buy plastic, you can buy glass, but hey, while you're here, you might as well enjoy the real natural beauty that we have. And so generally speaking, there are 3 kinds of grades for the white stones. And it has to do with the striations of the shell on the outside of the stone. The closer and the more striations there are, the higher the grade of the stone. And so if there's only a few striations, it's called blossom grade, and that's the lowest. The next up with a few more striations is called the moon grade. And the highest grade with really tight, compact, and many striations is called snow grade. And so, of course, there's a balance between the thickness and that striation level that creates the price of your go stones. In recent years, the price has really only gone up because the best stones, white stones, come from Hyuga Beach in Miyazaki Prefecture. And the clams that they used to harvest to make those stones have become very rare and difficult to find. And so most clamshells come from Mexico now. So while the Mexican clams are very beautiful and they make very beautiful stones, still the best, highest quality are the Hyuga go stones, made from Hyuga clams. And in that sense, where your stones are from also impacts the price. So while looking at these 2 stones here, this stone is thicker and this stone is thinner, but this stone is Hyuga clam and this stone is Mexican clam. Moreover, this stone is snow grade, and this stone is moon grade. And so while being a thicker stone, this stone is actually more valuable. So, with that in mind, another thing I'd like to show you guys is this little bad boy here, which is a stone being made. It's not ready to be a stone yet, and I'll get to this just a little later at the end of the video. So the last little part that I'd like to talk to you guys about are the stores where you can buy and where these stones are made. I was lucky enough to visit a very storied and beautiful area in Miyazaki Prefecture when I went down to Kyushu this past, I think it was March. And I got to stop in at one of the really nice old go stores called Kuroki Goishiten. And they were also kind enough to give me a tour of their go stone making factory. And so I'd like to share with you guys some of that tour. It was just an amazing time, and I feel really, really lucky to have been given that chance. And I'd like to share it with you. So let's take a look.
失礼します。なります。ああ、すげえ。これ荒削り？ああ、原料はないの今。で、横から見ると分かるんです。なぜそうなってるかよく分かる。見えてくるって感じか。石はですね、白い石は3回削るんです。丸くなってます。石じゃないよ。あの石じゃないけど。と言われるとそれは違うけど。これも特別。これで削るんだよね。そんなに差はないのね。大丈夫。気をつけるよ。すごいんですけどな、面白い。こういうやつで削っている。こういうやつ。こういうふうに。ああ、すげえ。違うよね。はい。すごいね。油を塗ると傷もよく見えるので。
And there you have it. I encourage you guys, if you ever have a chance to come to Japan and enjoy the nature here, that you also take your time to enjoy the beauty of the materials that we use every day to play this already amazing game. I think part of the joy of playing Go is feeling the connection with nature in this way. You have a board and you have stones and clamshells, and it's just part of the beauty of the game to really enjoy the sensory aspect of it as well. And so I want to thank you guys for taking some time out of your busy day to enjoy this kind of peaceful overview of all the wonderful equipment we have. And in the next little bit, hopefully we'll have some more lessons out for you guys. Thank you. This has been Go Magic.
By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.